This is the Coding Shinobi. Today I'm going to start learning along with you Python. I'm a Microsoft .NET developer. I have been for 20 years. And while I know the basics of Python, I mess around with it. I've debugged it. I've done everything. I have never actually gone through the process of learning it from scratch. So today, I'm going to start that process. I'm going to go through the tools that I will set up. Thankfully, it's become a lot easier in recent years to set up a new development tool in most languages, especially something like Python. And so we really need two things. We need to install Python. I'm running on a Mac, so I have a Mac OS install. And then I need to set up Visual Studio Code. And I already have Visual Studio Code installed. I just made sure it's up to date. And then there's a little bit of setup that has to occur within Visual Studio. So, first things first, what is Python? For those of you who don't know, Python is a scripting language, a programming language that lets you work more quickly to integrate your systems more effectively. That's what they say on this page here. Python is used a lot in the DevOps community nowadays. It's equivalent to PowerShell from Microsoft. It has a Linux base where it came from, and it's got a lot of object-oriented features, which you don't find in a lot of older scripting languages. Scripting languages have traditionally been procedural in nature, and therefore you don't get all the great design elements of a object-oriented language. But Python does that. Now, one of the things that I have a personal beef with Python is white space. If you've done any programming before, you can imagine that when white space matters, when spaces and tabs and all that matter, you end up with something that could be really hard to debug if you don't have it set up right. But people have been telling me, other developers who use it, have been telling me it's not really that big of a deal. So I'm just going to have to take their word for it and see how it goes. This first video will be really very simple. It's going to be the traditional hello world, but it's meant to go through and just give you an idea of what steps you should take to set up Python on your system. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I went to the Python website. I went to their downloads. Okay. And you click the 374 for Mac OS. It knows I'm on Mac, so I just download the 64-bit, 32-bit installer. Okay. And that downloads a handy little package file for me, okay? And all I have to do is run that package file. I've already done it, so I'm not gonna do it again. And it walks me through the installation setup. Now there's one step that it talked about that they have a solution for. When it installs, it shows you the folder, and there's an item in that folder to install the certificates. You have to do that for some of the more advanced items. Do not miss that step. Okay. The next thing is, if you have not already downloaded and installed Visual Studio Code, I don't know what's wrong with you, but download and install that now. Visual Studio Code, available on Mac, Linux, PC, whatever the case may be. Really lightweight but powerful editor for writing a wide variety of programming languages, from the .NET languages to Python to others. Okay. I have Visual Studio Code installed here, right? And so what I'm going to do first is we go to the marketplace extensions, okay? And you can see I've already searched for it, and I have Python installed. If you just search for Python, the first thing you'll list here, and there'll be a little install button. Click the install button, and Visual Studio Code handles it from there, okay? Now, once you do that, okay, you can drop back into your files, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and close that extension, okay? and I'm going to create a new untitled file, just Command N for me, okay? And I have my Python 374 selected, okay? And I'm going to do something really simple, okay? I'm going to declare a variable and set it equal to some string value, and then I'm going to print that string value out on the console. The same tutorial applies in when you're getting started with Visual Studio Code and Python. They have a whole tutorial that does this, okay? Let's just say I call our variable message. That's what others call it. Okay, and then we're going to print the message there. Okay, now here's the thing about it is I don't have anything to do with this because I haven't saved it, but I'm going to go ahead and hit my save button, and I'm going to call this greeting.py. py is the extension for Python. Okay, that really sets everything up. Once it has a file name and knows what it's doing, it really sets everything up, right? So now if I right click here and I run Python file in the terminal, okay, you can see it compiles it. It gives me some warnings, some things I may have to do, right? But now down here, okay, you can see it runs Python 3 with the file path greeting.py, and my output is here, Greetings Shinobi, okay? If I just change that, typing, it's not working for me today, okay? And I'm going to save, run in the terminal, okay? And you can see now my message has changed, so I'm just changing the variable. Here's kind of a neat thing you can do with Visual Studio Code that you could not do with a lot of text editors before, but it's becoming more popular. I can, over here in the left bar, you'll see as I highlight lines, a little kind of red dot shows up, and if I click, it becomes brighter. This is your debugging. Okay, you don't have to do traditional debugging of trying to print out messages and things like that. No, this has interactive debugging built in. Okay, and next thing I do on my left bar here is I click the debugging, which is a no bug symbol. Okay, and then I hit the run Python file. Okay. It has stopped me and highlighted the line that I work on. So now when I step over that and go to the next line, it's highlighted the line it's running on, but it tells me my local variable is here, okay? And now I can actually change things, okay? So now I've actually, in the debugger, changed the value of the message. And when I step over that line, you can see now that the message reads greeting hidden stream village as opposed to village hidden in the stream. So first step, hello world, you can do debugging and everything within Python. And the syntax is very simple. There's no need for a specific keyword to declare a variable. You just say, variable name equals and the value of that, and then you can use that throughout the application. This can lead to some issues with a lot of global variables, but if you follow the process of coding it, when we get more into the details of how you write code, how you should write code versus how people do write code, and follow some simple rules, then this is more than adequate for a lot of things, and you can do some really powerful stuff with Python very, very quickly.